A U.S. Capitol police officer has died, and the suspect was shot to death by police after ramming his car into a barricade outside the U.S. Capitol building Friday. AP's Sagar Meghani reports.
Law enforcement officials say a driver rammed a vehicle into two Capitol police officers and was shot after stepping out with what appeared to be a knife. It happened about 100 yards from a Capitol entrance in an area where fencing put up after January's Capitol riot had recently come down. National Guard troops who are still at the Capitol after the riot responded to the checkpoint. The Capitol itself is virtually empty, with Congress on recess. President Biden's also out of town. He had left for Camp David shortly before the incident. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
America's employers unleashed a burst of hiring in March, adding 916,000 jobs in a sign that a sustained recovery from the pandemic recession is taking hold as vaccines accelerate, stimulus checks flow through the economy, and businesses increasingly open. In remarks at the White House, President Biden said there is still a long way to go for a full economic recovery.
But my message to the American people is this: help is here, opportunity is coming, and at long last there's hope for so many families. Credit for this progress belongs not to me but to the American people.
The unemployment rate declined from 6.2% to 6%. Even with last month's robust increase, the economy remains more than 8 million jobs short of the number it had before the pandemic erupted a little over a year ago. The United States and Iran are planning to hold indirect talks with other major world powers, aiming to get both countries back into an accord limiting Iran's nuclear program. AP's Ben Thomas reports.
This is a welcome and potentially constructive early step.
Nearly 3 years after President Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear deal, the new administration is making good on President Biden's promise to get back in. Negotiations are set to start Tuesday in Vienna through the other world powers remaining in the accord. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki.
We don't anticipate presently that there will be direct talks between the United States and Iran through the process, though we certainly remain open to them.
Psaki adds the diplomatic road ahead may be a long one.
We are very clear-eyed about the hurdles that remain.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention updated its guidance to say fully vaccinated people can travel within the United States without getting tested for the coronavirus or going into quarantine afterward. At a news conference, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said fully vaccinated Americans can travel domestically at low risk to themselves.
For example, fully vaccinated grandparents can fly to visit their healthy grandkids without getting a COVID-19 test or self-quarantining, provided they follow the other recommended prevention measures while traveling.
For international travel, the agency says vaccinated people do not need to get a COVID-19 test before leaving, though some destinations might require them. Previously, the agency had cautioned against unnecessary travel, even for vaccinated people, but noted that it would update its guidance as more people got the vaccine and evidence mounted about the protection the shots provide. Christians in the Holy Land are marking Good Friday amid signs the coronavirus crisis is winding down. Religious sites in Jerusalem were open, but there were none of the mass pilgrimages usually seen in the Holy Week leading up to Easter. This year, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, built on the site where Christians believe Jesus was crucified, died, and rose from the dead, is open to visitors with masks and social distancing. Israel has launched one of the world's most successful vaccination campaigns, allowing it to reopen restaurants, hotels, and religious sites. But air travel is still limited by quarantine and other restrictions, keeping away the foreign pilgrims who usually throng Jerusalem during Holy Week.
Hi, thank you for watching. I hope the videos are useful for you. Please subscribe to my channel using the button below.